A lot to get to. A lot of NFL. I can't believe how much the NFL gave us this weekend.
It's wild. I was on my way in this morning, and usually when we do shows, you'll like kind of give me a heads up on some things.
I meant to actually text you a rundown, and I have it still on the text. I just didn't hit the send
that's hilarious.
button. Yeah.
But you didn't need it because I was like driving in. I was like, dude, the NFL is just the gift that keeps on giving.
It went wild this weekend.
It did. And we haven't even got to noon today. Or I guess
no.
it's 9 our time.
Well, the legal tampering period is underway. So now everybody's tampering with each other and trying to get guys to different teams. We got guys who didn't get tagged, and so now they're going to become free agents. We'll get to all of that. But we start the second hour. Russell Wilson is a Pittsburgh Steeler.
I'll tell you what, even when Denver, last year, when there was talk of Denver going to break up with Russ, at the end of the season, wanted to restructure, I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh was very far down my list of places I thought he would end up. It just doesn't seem like a natural
Why is
fit.
that? Why is that to you?
I think it's just personality. I think Russ is too clean, too polished, too calculated in what he does, to where Pittsburgh has that reputation of gritty and, power through and old school football. And I don't know, Russ just doesn't scream that to me. He just doesn't. I don't know. Pittsburgh's one of the few teams in the NFL that has a brand of a player. A TJ Watt, a Ben Roethlisberger, a Jerome Bettis. Like, those guys are Steelers. Mean Joe Green, stuff like that. Russ doesn't say that to me at all.
But
even Kenny Pickett kind of does.
You think Kenny Pickett
Kind
more
of.
so?
More
Really?
than Russ, yeah. And this isn't about who's the better quarterback. That's not what I mean. But, I mean, think about it. The Cowboys, the Patriots under Belichick, and the Steelers probably have the most, brand. Maybe the Ravens, too, with Harbaugh. He just doesn't fit that Steeler brand to me.
Well, the thing about Pittsburgh, and we have Jerry Dulac who covers them for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Which I can't wait to hear him.
Well, I'm curious to ask him this, though, is what can Russ still provide the Steelers? Why are the Steelers interested in getting Russ? Now, you can certainly say, well, Sprague, it's because Russ is going to make less this year than Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
He's on the veteran minimum. The Broncos are on the hook for, $39 million.
And they've talked about wanting to bring in competition.
Yeah, I tend to believe that Russ is going to get that job. I don't think they're bringing him in to just have a quarterback competition. They're like, okay, maybe he'll be a backup. Maybe Kenny Pickett will win this. Kenny Pickett will take big steps this offseason. I was listening to Pittsburgh radio, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh is our sister station. All of them are The Fan. It's unbelievable how many fans are. But I was listening this morning, and I'm not surprised by anything a host takes, but I'm listening to their morning show, and their morning show is basically reading off text listeners that are like, yo, Mark Schlereth is out on this guy. He says he's a bum. No thanks. And they're just basically reading the text so they can destroy the audience. He sucks. No thank you. Excuse me. And they were like, he gives you the best shot at winning. In the AFC, you need a quarterback that can do it. And Kenny Pickett couldn't do it. And I just kept thinking as I'm listening in my kitchen to this, can Russ?
That's the thing.
Right now, if you take, I assume everybody says Russ right now a little better than Deshaun. Am I wrong there, or do you think it's a toss-up between who you ask?
I think it's a real toss-up.
Okay.
Are we just talking on the field?
We're just talking on the field.
Then, it's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up?
I would think Watson's better than Russ at
I'll
this
do a
point.
poll. Well, he hasn't shown anything
not
in
by
Cleveland.
much, but I mean, it's not like Russ has shown a lot in Denver either.
What did he throw for 26, 28 touchdowns last year?
26 touchdowns, 8 picks, but just over 3,000 yards. So it's not a lot of pushing the ball. Denver traditionally,
and those 8 picks are in bad moments.
Well, and also he's very half-oriented. One game, he's really good in the first half, doesn't really do much in the second. The numbers to me were a little misleading of what his season was, and I think you see Denver's actions basically say that. But he's not better than Burrow. He's certainly not better than Lamar.
No.
So my thing on Pittsburgh, I guess I'll ask Jerry this at 8. My thing on Pittsburgh is it feels like Pittsburgh's needed to hit restart 2 or 3 times here, and they just don't. They just roll it over, and they say, well, we got veterans on defense, and we have receivers that people really seem to like, even though Pickens – Is George Pickens amazing, or is he kind of just middle of the road and is what he is? Deontay Johnson's unhappy, according to Diana Rossini. Is he going to want to be out of there? I don't know about Pittsburgh, and that's the thing is Pittsburgh just doing the thing where they say, we want to make the play, even if it means a 7-seed wild card team. We're just in on that versus hitting the restart at quarterback. Kenny Pickett, not the guy. Okay, Russell Wilson for even a league minimum. Is that better than hitting restart at the position? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it feels like Pittsburgh's been in a spot where they could hit the restart and not fully hit restart, but like hit restart enough to go get a guy, go get a couple other pieces, and then build it up. It feels more like, no, we're Pittsburgh. We have to be in the playoffs no matter what. So we'll be a 7 seed, and we'll be A-okay with that.
I said this last week to you. We were talking about it, about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mediocrity in the NFL is a dangerous, dangerous place to be. And that's where they are, because they won't hit the reset. They will always be over 500 Mike Tomlin, 7-seed wild card. Like, they will always do this. And until they have a moment, whether it's Tomlin leaving or Tomlin eating some crow and having to be sub 500, they are going to remain in this 8-9, 9-8, every once in a while win 10 games. You're not competing in that division anytime soon unless you get some dynamite quarterback.
Their last 6 seasons, Patrick. Lost the wild card this year.
Yep.
No playoffs the year before. Lost the wild card. Lost the wild card. No playoffs. No playoffs.
And look at their regular season record in all those years. They're all the same.
It's 9-6-1, 8-8, 12-4, 9-7-1, 9-8, 10-7.
Mediocrity is a dangerous place to be in the NFL, and that's where they live. They're kings of it.
And 2017, they were 13-3, but they lost the divisional round that year as favorites. 2016 was the year that me and Dirt went to Vegas. They went to New England, I want to say it was. I think it was New England. They got their butts whooped in that conference championship game. Before that, I mean, you go through Tomlin's run here and lost Super Bowl, lost wild card, no playoff, lost wild card, lost divisional round, conference title game lost divisional, no playoff, wild card, no playoff.
Don't you guys think, though, that this is the kind of move that a team like that would make before maybe totally resetting? Like, this is obviously on Russell Wilson because he went to New York, he talked, didn't really seem like he fit with the Giants, and the Steelers, I feel like, did present the overall best fit, like out of Vegas, and any other option.
This kind of tells me there wasn't as much interest in him as people kind of initially reported, right?
You think? I mean,
that was kind of my take, because the Giant thing was exploratory. It wasn't real conversation.
Okay.
It was a flyover, stop in, pop in, hi, okay, bye.
I mean, if you went there, though, I do feel like that there's some semblance of, okay, I think I could work here, and they think that I could work too. I think you could just get it out of the way with a Zoom call if there was really nothing there. So,
it's always nice to shake hands and kiss babies, I guess. I don't.
Mr. Unlimited loves that.
I guess my thing is this: what does this do for Pittsburgh?
I don't think it does anything. It just tells you that Kenny Pickett's not the guy.
Like, are they going to be better than a 7 seed? Yeah, they'll be a 6. Okay, does that get you past Lamar? Does it get past Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Does it get you past Josh Allen?
No.
Will Harbaugh and the Chargers
exactly.
take a step this year? What about Cincinnati when Burrow is healthy? I haven't seen anything from Watson in years, but does he take a step positively and their defense is elite? You stack up where Pittsburgh is. Were they better served to do this and take the shot because of the minimum? Or are you better served to just be honest with yourself and say, we've barely been good enough?
Also,
you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing right now? I was a little surprised, Patrick. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off.
No, you're good.
I was a little surprised to listen this morning to Pittsburgh radio. And again, one of the more consistent teams in sports. And they're just like, yeah, this is the guy that can get you over the top in the AFC with these other quarterbacks versus saying, maybe we just stop kicking the can down the road and finally address our situation and say, we got to find the guy.
Let me ask you this. Who's in a better situation with a chance to make some noise? Make some noise, not go on a run.
Not a true contender, but be a thorn in the side.
Yeah.
And okay.
Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers or a healthy Anthony Richardson in the Indianapolis Colts?
Well, the Colts...
Because the Colts almost made the playoffs.
The Colts played for a playoff appearance with Minshew largely.
Right.
I don't know what Richardson will be, nor do I know if he'll stay healthy. If he's going to play like that again, he won't.
But if he stays healthy and does take a little bit of a step in his natural progression of being an NFL quarterback...
Well, I think right now what I don't know if I can answer that, but what I would respond
that's what
with
I mean.
is
if you
Colts fans feel better about the way that they are rebuilding
Yes.
with Steichen as their head coach.
And what I'm saying is, yeah, we may not know about Richardson, But those are kind of parallel teams right now in terms of where you are. So Russell doesn't move the needle to make you better than, is Anthony Richardson any good? Like the Colts are building something. They're in mediocrity right now, but they're building something. If you're the Steelers, you're still just hanging there. I'm more excited about the Colts next year than I am the Steelers.
But Russ really does give you, I feel like, better option than you've had at quarterback in that room in the last 3 or 4 seasons for Pittsburgh, and also allows you to spend that 28 million that they have going into free agency.
He's certainly better than Kenny Pickett for sure. I'm with you on that.
And they can spend to get other guys around him. And instead of having to go spend that money on a rookie quarterback, it gives them a season before you just, okay, we got to reset and blow everything up, fire Tomlin, see if you can bring a couple receivers in.
I think he's better than Kenny Pickett. I don't know. The funny thing is, I think Mason Rudolph might have been better than Kenny Pickett last year because he came in, he quarterbacked him. They eventually benched Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
And then he's the quarterback as they go to the playoffs. Now, they lost to Buffalo, but
but they almost came back in that game.
That's the thing, though.
Buffalo kind of.
You can't put all of your eggs in the basket of, we almost came back in that wild card game.
True.
You still lost. You haven't gotten past the wild card since 2017. And you have 3 of those 6 seasons of not making the playoff. But the brag point is not below 500 even once as a coach. And
mediocrity.
I don't know what he is. I go back to the Cleveland game when Cleveland and Baker beat them. I thought he was horrific in that game as a coach. I thought he made some really piss-poor decisions in that game. And Russell Wilson might be the savior for their situation, but it doesn't feel amazing. And if Denver was so high on what he was last year, Schultze highlights the numbers, I think Denver keeps him. But Denver's doing a full rebuild now. Like, that's the takeaway, is that Sean Payton is doing a full rebuild in Denver.
With Judy gone, it's
they traded him to the Cleveland Browns.
Well, they have no draft capital because it's all in Seattle. So
they got 2 picks for Judy.
That's huge.
I couldn't believe that.
I couldn't believe that either.
Cleveland.
But it is clear. It wasn't just cut and bait on Russ. I mean, obviously that relationship was not great, but it is cut and bait on everyone.